Original Boroko stationery shop up in flames. Security stepped up before poll petition decision. And Simbu to attend Melanesian Arts Festival.
This is National EMTV News with Godwin Eki.
A Pioneer stationery shop in Port Moresby was engulfed in flames this afternoon. Eyewitnesses told EMTV the fire spread quickly because of the kind of building material and wind speed during the blaze. Police were on the scene to stop looting and other problems by opportunists.
At around 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, the original Alo Science shop building caught fire and went up in flames in less than 5 minutes. The cause of the fire remains unknown as the fire service establishes investigation into the incident. Residents have again complained of the slow response by authorities.
They're supposed to be right on time, all looking flame, regardless whatever. Standard but fire service should improve. Kind of Australia or one countries working. Emergency one time, they have to be within 1 or 2 minutes early. But now we looking fire start the front time come a billion or come late finish now. I think the fire service need to do some improvement in the services.
The Alu Science stationery shop was burned to ashes as authorities could not stop the flame from spreading. Lucky enough, the nearby fuel station was not affected as employees put up water barricades.
I was saying more fire first one wind block so I was saying fire na goes direction. So me one late lily fireman me call and slay more come 3-4 hours late.
Police were rushed to the scene to stop looting by opportunists. Alu Science was a pioneer stationery shop in Boroko who established its business before theorists and other bigger names around the country. No one was injured or killed during the incident. However, properties worth over an estimated 50,000 kina were destroyed.
Actually, we got the backside. Some flame come in front, we don't have and smoke come from the Actually, time fire buruk na, we got kerap nugun na. Some family na one really cargo plan baga single kamacha. Some cargo plan or cook finish and then also my bus there went on flame already. So.
Jack Lapave Jr. National EMTV News.
Arawa Town in the autonomous region of Bougainville today welcomed a delegation from the national government on the eve of the joint supervisory body meeting. The delegation, led by Minister assisting the Prime Minister on Bougainville Affairs, William Sam, included state ministers as well as several heads of government departments and agencies who will be meeting to discuss agendas put forward by a joint technical team. Among issues at the center of JSB discussions will be to finalizing of the membership of the Bougainville Referendum Commission, BRC, as well as the question of referendum to put forward to the people of Bougainville on June 15, 2019. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who was supposed to travel with the delegation today, is expected to arrive early Friday morning for the one-day meeting. Police in the Eastern End Command have beefed up security in Mount Hagen in the lead-up to the outcome of the election petition case on the Hagen open seat. The decision will be handed down tomorrow at the Waigani National Court. Deputy Eastern End Commander Ben Turi says this is to prevent any potential unrest from occurring.
Police from the Eastern End provinces of Mount Hagen, Jiwaka and Simbu will be in Mount Hagen tomorrow morning to provide security. They will be assisted by PNG Defence Force soldiers to stage roadblocks and traffic checks, to do street patrols and provide security to vital government services. Services such as the International Airport, District and National Courthouse and banks. Commander Turi is urging supporters of both parties to behave themselves tomorrow. Eastern End police personnel were in Simbu yesterday to provide security in Kundiawa town for the decision of the Gumini open seat yesterday. However, the decision for that seat was deferred to a later date.
We've got to work together, support our superiors, call them up, give me a 10. That's the spirit of the force.
Vasinata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
Over 15 people from Simbu province will join the PNG contingent to attend the 6th Melanesian Festival of the Arts in Solomon Islands. Simbu Governor Michael Dua says Simbu's participation is equally important to learn other cultures and create economic opportunities for local communities. The last contingent will leave PNG over the weekend for Solomon Islands.
Nearly 15 will represent Simbu province as part of the PNG contingent in the Melanesian Festival of Arts in Solomon Islands next week. Governor Dua says it's not just an ordinary trip, but a learning opportunity for many who have not gone overseas for such field trips.
Simbu province government sponsoring, so we'll go out long, attend the festival long, on here, Solomon Island. Planning all placement, always around before.
Over 30 were selected, however, due to logistic issues covering passport processing and other necessary travel arrangements, only 15 will attend on behalf of Simbu province. The 15 will be showcasing Simbu's sacred cultures and tradition and also learn from other cultures in the Pacific.
From there, planning all teams from South Pacific by Karim Kalsa Bol took us all by scaling not by scaling looking Kanusam Kalsa and part living Blimiana. All Karim go some go showcase lab na by land Serim Muslim exchange you come so I think I'm Blanco plus something.
The Simbu governor says capacity building and human empowerment must be supported adequately so individuals bring back the knowledge and skills to the province. Governor Dua said the provincial government will perform its responsibilities to support such community initiative if proper dialogue is achieved.
Almost film awesome government name stop backside long all people na give service law. So now yet them me just come stop close on them all people to me is make sure some almost feel comfortable na travel out. No got me lose all thing was I papa come lose na. All film out of place so me just come stop close to so that time me back strong na back balos na go.
Jack Lapave Jr. National MTV News.
Yeah, with National MTV News, we go for our first break now, but we'll be back with more of the day's top stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. After taking 4 years to establish the Stanley Association, PDL 10 landowners in Western Province are now ready to finally launch the Western LNG project. The project involves 6 landowners groupings with 40 subclans. President Wasa Sowati says all 3 districts in the province will need to work together for the benefit of its people. After a development forum in 2014, community leaders were asked to carry out a survey to identify immediate landowners. With support from customary lands officers, 6 landowner groups with 40 subclans were recognized in PDL 10. With the data collected, Stanley Association was formed upon request from the government, which was then submitted to the state to review. President Wasa Sowati says it took 4 years for the project to come to its fruition.
So we went to the state team. The state team advised us to go back to the village, get the landowners together and establish the association so that we can work with the state and establish the association, and association will become the political mouthpiece for the 5,000 people in the project side so that we will all participate in the project as soon as the project starts.
Stanley project, known as Western LNG by the state, will see all other oil fields come under one umbrella to operate as one to make it transparent for the benefit of all landowners of PDL 10.
The project itself, Stanley project is the project that is now the government is saying that this is Western LNG. So if Stanley project is not done, then there's no Western LNG. So when Stanley started, all the other oil fields in Western Province will join together. So we want to make it model and transparent way to get things done correctly.
President Wassa says with nearly 10 oil fields exposed, more are yet to be uncovered. His appeal to the landowners is for all three districts in the province, North Fly, South Fly and Middle Fly, to work together for the launching of the Western LNG project.
I'm appealing to the landowners. This is our way forward out today, that now we are preparing for the development stage now. 5 or 10 of them there, plus more to come. This is only in South Fly. From Middle Fly, more to come. From South Fly, there are more to come also. So they will all come under one LNG, Western LNG. So Stanley is the front man, so we are making it possible for others to join us so that we will make it moral and transparent so that we can see the benefit and the landowners, the people of Western Province will benefit from it.
The project is expected to be launched next month, with Balang International to be in charge of the Western LNG project. A nationwide promotion by Milo that started in April and ended on the 1st of June saw 30 lucky winners drawn today. From the 30 winners, 8 were from Port Moresby, Lae and Medang had 5 each winners and the rest had 2 winners. 30 lucky winners from around the nation will have the privilege to watch the final leg of the State of Origin on a 50-inch TV screen, one from Nestlé's Milo promotion today. Nestlé's brand activation manager, Gabriel Manoy, says this is not the first time Nestlé has given out promotions to the public. From the 30 winners, Port Moresby had 8 winners, while Lae and Medang had 5 each. Other centres, including Buka, had 1 to 2 winners. He says winners will be contacted by phone to claim their prizes. Turning overseas now, and Prince William has spoken of his hopes of lasting peace in the Middle East after meeting the Palestinian president in Israel's occupied West Bank. The Duke of Cambridge also met refugees at a camp.
Transition from Israel into the occupied Palestinian territories, marked by high concrete walls, and for William, a switch into a Palestinian vehicle. In the main city of Ramallah, he was welcomed by the president of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, at a ceremony akin to a full state welcome. Except, of course, this isn't a state. It's Palestinian territory still occupied by Israel. William went on to a refugee camp. Not tents, but permanent buildings, including a small health centre. It was established in 1949 for Palestinians who'd fled or been expelled from their land when Israel was created. Nearly 70 years later, the two communities are still trying to coexist in close proximity. And here is that problem in microcosm. I'm in the Palestinian camp. The houses over there are inhabited by Israelis. Some of them are flying Israeli flags. In the middle distance is an Israeli watchtower, and in between is this narrow buffer zone where there are frequent clashes. In the centre of Ramallah, there was a cultural festival. As he's done throughout this visit, William focused particularly on young people. And tonight, in East Jerusalem, he spoke about their hopes to put the past behind them, and he had this to say to the Palestinians.
My message tonight is that you have not been forgotten. It has been a very powerful experience to meet you and other Palestinians living in the West Bank and to hear your stories. I hope that through my being here and understanding the challenges you face, the links of friendship and mutual respect between the Palestinian and British people will grow stronger.
For a senior royal, the language was unusually direct. This visit appears to have made a deep impression.
In the coming hours, new details are expected on the outcome of the summit between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I think we'll be talking about Syria. I think we'll be talking about Ukraine. I think we'll be talking about many other subjects, and we'll see what happens. So you never know. You never know about meetings, what happens, right?
U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton has been in Moscow hammering out details of the summit with Russian officials. Bolton also met with President Putin and tried to quell any apprehension about the planned summit.
The fact is that it's important for the leaders of these two countries to meet. There are a wide range of issues, despite the differences between us, where both President Trump and President Putin think they may be able to find constructive solutions. I'd like to hear someone say that's a bad idea.
More stories making headlines overseas when we come back. See you after the break. Welcome back to the news. A key justice of the United States Supreme Court Attorney Kennedy met with President Trump to hand-deliver his retirement letter. CNN has more on Kennedy's career and impact on the high courts.
The whole object of the judiciary is to ensure stability, continuity, and so we pride ourselves on the fact that there's little change.
In a move that could set in motion a seismic shift to the right on the highest court in the land, Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring after more than 30 years on the bench.
We as a people are bound together.
Kennedy, now 81 years old, swore in the newest justice to join the court last year, his former clerk, Neil Gorsuch.
I, Neil M. Gorsuch, do solemnly swear.
While President Trump replaced one conservative with another when he chose Gorsuch to take Justice Antonin Scalia's seat, he now has the opportunity to move the court significantly to the right when he replaces Kennedy, a centrist.
The cases swing, I don't.
Kennedy has never liked being labeled the court's swing vote, but for years it has been his vote that has often decided the outcome of cases in a closely divided court.
Anthony Kennedy was by far the most powerful justice of my lifetime, controlling the outcome of so many important cases because he was the swing vote, the one vote that was in play.
Thank you for coming to witness this historic occasion.
Kennedy, a Ronald Reagan appointee,
I, Anthony Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
Was sworn in 1988.
I shall honor the Constitution.
He sided with his conservative colleagues on issues such as gun control and voting rights. He authored the majority opinion in Citizens United, striking down election spending limits for corporations.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And in Bush v. Gore, he helped clear the way for George W. Bush's presidency. But to the dismay of those on the right, Kennedy joined the liberals on the court on abortion, affirmative action, and the death penalty. His most lasting legacy will likely be in the area of gay rights. In 2015, Kennedy penned a landmark opinion, clearing the way for same-sex marriage nationwide.
They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law, and the Constitution grants them that right.
Anthony Kennedy grew up in a conservative Catholic family in Sacramento, California. But there was something that offended him from the very beginning about discrimination against gay people. And his principal legacy on the court will be as the father of constitutional protections for gay rights and for marriage equality in the United States.
But Kennedy this term tried to strike a balance between gay rights and religious freedom.
Everyone deserves the cake!
When he wrote the majority opinion, siding with a Colorado baker who refused to make a custom wedding cake for two gay men. In his opinion, Kennedy acknowledged the baker's sincere religious beliefs that motivated his objection, but warned against the broad use of religion to justify denying same-sex couples goods and services, writing, "Any decision in favor of the baker would have to be sufficiently constrained." In 2009, Kennedy offered a rare glimpse of what it's like to be behind the scenes on closely divided cases.
There are not a lot of high fives and backslaps, and there's a moment of quiet, a moment of respect, maybe even sometimes awe at the process. We realize that one of us is going to have to write out a decision which teaches and gives reasons for what we do.
As time proves him to be one of the most unpredictable justices, personal dignity and liberty were always themes in Anthony Kennedy's jurisprudence.
The first trial on Spain's stolen babies is underway. The doctor accused has denied the charges, saying he has dementia.
Do you remember what was the protocol to follow when a woman was admitted to the clinic to give birth?
I did not know anything apart from medical matters. I didn't know.
CNN met Inés Madrigal in 2012. We interviewed her and her adoptive mother, Inés Perez.
She wasn't adopted. She was given as a present for taking care of a boy. They didn't give me flowers or money. They gave me a baby girl.
She said Dr. Vela had given her daughter as a gift for her volunteer work at an orphanage and even advised her how to pad her belly with pillows to fake a pregnancy before coming to his clinic.
Don't go to the hairdresser, no makeup. Put on a sad face and act like you feel nauseous. Look like you're in pain. The doctor told me to do all that.
She was also given this, a falsified birth certificate with Dr. Vela's signature. When her adopted daughter turned 18, Inés Perez told her the truth. A DNA test proved they were not related. At the time, Inés Madrigal told us she was determined to convince prosecutors a crime had been committed.
I have to prove everything. Why don't they have to prove something? The prosecutors are closing their eyes to this.
Inés Perez passed away 2 years ago, before she had a chance to see her daughter bring Dr. Vela to court. To this day, she does not know who her biological mother is. In front of the court, Madrigal said she never questioned her relationship with the mother that raised her, even as the case against Dr. Vela progressed.
No, never. It got better, maybe. She was an elderly woman by then, and she had no problem being charged by the judge as an accessory to the crime. And until her last days, she proved her strength, always with her truth, and was unbreakable. I only feel thankful towards her.
In Spain, there are thousands of so-called niños robados, or stolen children, illegal and forced adoptions that stretch back more than 70 years ago, when the country was racked by civil war and then oppressed by dictator Francisco Franco. Franco had a policy of taking the children of political prisoners and placing them in pro-government families. Prosecutors and lawyers say that laws back then allowed for no questions asked adoptions. Doctors were not required to put the name of biological mothers on birth certificates, ostensibly to protect unwed mothers. And Catholic institutions issued baptism certificates in lieu of birth certificates. That made it easier for illegal adoptions to flourish well into the 1990s. Dr. Vela denies forging any birth certificates. This photo was taken in 1982 at his clinic by an investigative journalist, a frozen baby girl, umbilical cord still intact. Herman Gallego says he took the photo after hearing rumors that Dr. Vela was falsely telling mothers their newborns had died, then selling them for adoption. The nurses, he said, explained how it worked.
Then one nurse said, sometimes women want to see the baby's body, to see that it's dead. So she said, they keep one in the fridge. I said, no, I didn't believe it.
And what about those babies that were born here? Madrigal is the first to bring Dr. Vela to court, and she hopes her case will help others to find, if not justice, at least the truth.
In the UK, a heat wave is scorching parts of the country. Record temperatures are fueling a huge blaze, delaying travellers and making beer shortage seem even worse.
The smoky scar on the hills near Manchester is so big it can be seen from space. The 6 square kilometre blaze has been burning since Monday, fuelled by strong winds and record temperatures. It's been impossible to put out.
It's extremely challenging, not just dealing with a moorland fire like this, dealing with it with the wind direction, the heat and the terrain.
The army's been called in amid residential evacuations and school closures.
It's quite worrying, really, yeah.
But the flames aren't the biggest concern. The moors are made of a dense soil known as peat, which is smouldering fiercely like tobacco.
It's more the smoke that's the problem at the minute for us where we are, to be fair.
Elsewhere, Britain's basking under blue skies and the grips of a heat wave.
Everybody's lapping it up as we do. We binge tan in this country when the sun comes out, right?
Scorching. Sizzling.
Sweltering.
While this has been the hottest day of the year so far in the UK, reaching almost 32 degrees in Wales, it's only set to get hotter, expecting to top 33 degrees tomorrow. But that still falls short of the British June record of 35.6 degrees set 40 years ago.
It's heaven for some, but the hot temperatures can also be a hassle.
I do think our city's not fully catered for this sort of heat wave. There's like no aircon anywhere.
and yeah, it gets a bit much.
And there've been public transport delays as trains run slower to stop swollen tracks buckling. And grit trucks have been out trying to stop the road from melting. And spare a thought for these guys who are working in the heat, fighting an even hotter target just when you thought they deserved a cold beer. Oh dear, some pubs and supermarkets are running out due to a shortage of carbon dioxide, which makes the drink fizzy. Bad timing when the beer-loving Brits have this to bask in. And the World Cup's on.
Joe Jackson, father and controversial manager of the iconic Jackson 5, including the late Michael Jackson, has died. Mr. Jackson had been suffering from cancer. He died aged 89.
He was the man behind this musical dynasty with a string of hits like ABC. Joe Jackson launching the Jackson 5 in 1966 and credited with starting the iconic solo careers of son Michael. The king of pop later estranged from his father, he and other siblings alleging years of physical and emotional abuse. Michael describing his fear of his father in the 2003 Martin Bashir documentary, Living with Michael Jackson.
I mean, scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit?
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence. Just seeing him.
Joe Jackson admitting to CNN in 2013 he did physically discipline his children.
I'm glad I was tough because look what I came out with. I came out with some kids that everybody loved all over the world.
Joe Jackson dying Wednesday at 89 of pancreatic cancer. This tweet sent from his account just 3 days earlier, quote, "I have seen more sunsets than I have left to see." Granddaughter Paris saying it was not written by Joe. Other reaction from the family with grandson Randy Jackson Jr. tweeting, "Rest in peace to the king that made everything possible. I love you, Grandpa."
This is National MTV News. We take a break now, but don't go away. Trukai Sports is coming up next.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To football first, the final draw of the Momase Regional Besta qualifiers has now been released with just a few more days left to kick off. A total of 42 teams slotted into 8 pools for men and 2 for women. The tournament is hosted at the Laiwaden Oval in Medang from the 2nd to the 7th of July.
The path to the Best FA Cup qualifiers in Medang has been laid out. All participating teams will now challenge for a place in the Best FA Cup Finals football to be held in September. It was revealed after an official draw for the Momase leg was conducted at Laiwaden Oval in Medang. Starting off next month, the winners will go on to join winners from NGI, Southern and the Highlands region in Lae for the Best FA Cup Finals in September. The 34 men's teams are placed in 8 pools. Association making up Pool A. Pool B is made up of WIWAC and a split of Morobe teams, while Pool C and D comprises of a good down to Group H. In the women's mix, 8 teams are grouped into 2 pools, A and B. Group A consists of host Medang Soccer Association. Pool B are Morobe Football Association, WOW, Vanimo and Medang. All teams are expected to arrive on the weekend before the competition kicks off on Monday, 2nd July. Shane Saroya, National MTV Sports.
And still on football, the Medang Soccer Association has sent 2 under-17 teams to Lae to compete in the youth tournament. The tournament started yesterday and Medang teams hoping to do well. They are under the guidance of a number of senior officials, one of them, Rachel Waduna, the assistant coach for the PNG Under-20 women's team during the 2016 FIFA Under-20 World Cup. And it's been the Football World Cup results that had stunned the world. Germany had been eliminated from the group stages of the tournament for the first time in history after a 2-1 defeat by South Korea.
group games.
Germany eliminated from the World Cup's group stages for the first time in history. For 80 years, the Germans had always made it to the final 8, until today.
Flick towards the near post, bouncing around dangerously, and South Korea have scored! Can you believe it?
But the World Cup's so-called holder's curse wasn't done yet.
Neuer now is playing as a midfield player. There's going to be another goal here. This will be it. Song Heung-min, 2-0, that is it, all over.
Germany now the third straight defending champion to be eliminated in the group stages. Back in Berlin, it was all too much to bear. The four-time champions leave Russia in tears after their most humiliating defeat.
The whole of Germany will be in football mourning.
But just who will next take the crown is still anyone's guess.
Trukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. A look at rugby union now. The 2021 Women's Rugby World Cup is one step closer to being hosted on Kiwi soil after getting the government's backing.
One of 6 bidders gunning to win hosting rights. It's now becoming a real prospect for the 5-time champion Black Ferns, with Sports Minister Grant Robertson confirming the government will help fund New Zealand Rugby's application.
I think it will be pretty massive at the moment. Women's rugby is going crazy in New Zealand, and to be able to have it here in New Zealand would be amazing, and just the support of all the public would be pretty cool for the girls to play at home.
The winning nation is expected to be announced by the end of the year.
In tennis, 7-time Wimbledon tennis champion Serena Williams has been named the 25th seed in this year's tournament, despite being outside the top 32. But her return to All England club following the birth of her child last September hasn't been to everyone's liking.
Making an exception for one of sport's most exceptional talents.
There we are. It's Serena Williams again.
This was the last time we saw Serena Williams at Wimbledon. In 2016, champion once more. Then a new arrival, baby Alexis, and Williams took a year away from sport. But because of that break, her ranking plummeted. She's currently the world 183. Despite that, though, Wimbledon have named her as one of their 32 seeds. Number 25, in fact, which means she'll avoid other top players in the early rounds. But it is a controversial decision. Wimbledon normally seed players in line with the rankings, and Williams' promotion means the world number 32, Dominika Cibulkova, isn't seeded. Something she said yesterday would be unfair.
I don't know something like this ever happened before. My opinion about that is I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's the right thing to do.
In the past, other top players who've returned from having children, such as former #1 Victoria Azarenka, haven't been seeded. But tennis fans today largely supported Wimbledon's decision.
If I had a baby and went back to work, I'd quite like to be able to go back to where I was, not be put right back at the bottom and not have a chance.
Williams wasn't seeded at last month's French Open and still reached the last 16. With this extra lift, then, her Wimbledon rivals will certainly be watching out.
Olympic athletes are preparing for the next Games in 2 years in Tokyo, but some are already gearing up for the one after that in France. A French judo champion has been preparing for her compatriots for the game to be hosted in Paris.
Judo is more than a sport. It's a moral code. Without judo, I know I wouldn't be who I am today. It has shaped me as a woman.
Emily Andiol has a fighting spirit.
What I loved from the start was the confrontation, the duel.
With grit and determination that earned her Olympic gold.
I'm not talented. I'm just someone who works very hard.
After retiring from international competition in 2017, this French judoka has now turned her focus and efforts to training the next generation of champions. Hoping to follow in her footsteps are hundreds of children who've gathered in a sports centre in Bourges, 2 hours south of Paris. Alongside Emily are the rising stars of the judo national team, including Roman Deko, who, aged 18, is already European heavyweight champion.
Emily is in the same weight category as me. She's in some way passing the baton on to me. I've been training with her for the last 2 years. So to see one experienced person and a young hopeful can give motivation to everyone in France. The young generations can accomplish so much.
I love seeing a child looking at me full of hopes and dreams. It brings up a lot of emotions. They have stars in their eyes. It's the least we can do. It's about giving back. It's very important.
And with the Olympics coming to Paris in 2024, her sights are set on giving the next generation of judoka a fighting chance.
Everyone will be behind us because it will be on home turf. I want them to be the best games we've had since their creation.
Up next, the weather details for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Weather forecast for afternoon and tonight. Southern region, Port Moresby and Alatau, a shower or two. Daru, cloudy at times. Kerema, rain showers. Popondetta, rain drizzle. Momase, Ley, rain showers. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, a shower or two. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, KVN, Kimbe and Buka, rain showers. Rabaul and Kokopo, a shower or two. Highlands, all centres, few showers and then morning fog. Strong wind warnings for all coastal waters of Papua New Guinea, Corals, Solomon and Bismarck Seas, except for New Ireland, East New Britain, Manus and Bougainville waters. Waters of southern PNG, Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwa Islands, to Kerema to Yule Island, to Hood Point to Samurai Islands, with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen, with waters of Finchafen through Vaitiers, Dampier Strait to Siasi Islands, to Long Island and with waters of West New Britain. Seas 2.0 to 3.0 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang to Bogia to Wewak to Aitape to Vanimo to northern PNG Indonesian border. Seas 2.0 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands. Seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of East New Britain to New Ireland and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas, coral seas, seas rough with southeast winds at 25 to 34 knots, Solomon seas rough with southeast winds at 25 to 34 knots. Bismarck seas slight to rather rough with southeast winds at 15 to 25 knots. Pacific Ocean seas slight with northeast to easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And before we go, recapping our main stories tonight. Original Boroko stationery shop up in flames. Security stepped up before poll petition decisions. And Simbu province to attend Melanesian Arts Festival. And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Thursday, the 28th of June, 2018. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team across the country, pleasant viewing. Good night.